into day 12 of the 30-day wholesale challenge. Today we're going to be talking about MAO. Okay, MAO is your maximum allowable offer. Okay, once you've figured out what your maximum offer is, you know that you don't start there. Okay, so let me talk to you about this. The current formula for maximum allowable offer right now is after repair value, which we figured out how to do a couple days ago, times 70% minus your rehab minus your assignment fee. So let's talk about assignment fees a little bit here. Not every deal that you get under contract is going to give you a $20,000, $30,000 assignment fee. Okay, the average assignment fee, I believe, in my area right now is right around $10,000. Okay, and if you're joint venturing with somebody and they're helping you sell it, you're not even going to make that. Okay, so with that being said, I want you to not be super greedy with this. Understand that you want to make about $10,000 per property. Okay, so for tonight's homework, what I want you to do is you're going to take the properties that you've been working on the last couple of days, and you're going to come up with 3 numbers that you can use to make offers. Okay? Because when you're talking to the seller, you don't know which one you're going to be using. Okay, so you're going to come up with an offer for a light rehab, for a medium rehab, and for a heavy rehab. And again, let me say this again. You're going to take your after repair value, multiply that by 70%, subtract your rehab number, and subtract your assignment fee. If you want to make $10,000, subtract $10,000. If you want to make $5,000, subtract $5,000. That's a business decision for you. Okay? Once you've done that, we're going to go back into PropStream and we're going to look at the cash sales in the area. Okay? We're going to make sure that what we can offer is in line with what we can sell it for. Okay? I did a video not too long ago about how to make an offer without knowing your ARV. Okay, I'm going to share that video within this video for you. However, I want you to understand why we didn't just start there. Okay? You're not always going to be able to find multiple cash sales in an area. For example, if you get somebody who calls you on the phone just out of the blue who wants an offer on their property, you're definitely going to want to make an offer. But if it's not in one of those markets where you've got 20% or more of cash sales, you may not be able to find the cash sales to make that offer, to come up with that offer. So you're going to need to know how to find that ARV, how to find that maximum allowable offer. So once you come up with your 3 offers for these properties, I want you to go back into PropStream and check and make sure that they are right in line with everything that's going on. So I'll be back after I share this video with you and we'll talk some more.
Hi there, welcome in. In this video, I'm going to show you the secret technique that I use to make offers without knowing my ARV. Now, a lot of times I'll be on the phone with my seller leads and I probably reach out to about 1,000 of them a day via text messaging, and I want to be able to give them a ballpark number very quickly. And this system that I'm using has been very effective in getting that done for me, and it's usually very, very accurate. So with that said, let's get started and I will be happy to show you. Okay, before we get started, I want to talk to you about a couple things first, because I've had so many students who don't know these things. So I want to go over a couple things with you so you know when people are talking exactly what they're talking about. So there are a couple acronyms that we use in the wholesaling side that we use all the time. And if you don't know what they are, they're going to cause a problem for you when you're speaking with your buyers. Okay, so ARV is going to mean your after repair value. I've had students tell me that it's the average retail value, but what it is your after repair value. Okay, what the property is worth once it's completely rehabbed and in retail brand new condition and ready to sell on the market. Okay, the MAO is the maximum allowable offer. That is the highest amount that you are going to be able to offer your seller and still make the deal work. Okay. Your ROI is going to be your return on investment, and this is generally a percentage of the purchase price. Okay, so if you're working with a buy and hold investor, they're going to be looking for a percentage ROI. Most times, if it's 10% or better, then it's a decent deal. Okay, EMD, or earnest money deposit, that is the escrow money that you're going to be placing with the title company, or your buyer is going to be placing with the title company for a deposit on the contract and to make the contract legal. A contract is not legal if there was no EMD placed. Okay, your IP, if you hear somebody refer to your IP, that means your inspection period. Okay, this is your due diligence period. This is the time as a wholesaler that you have to find another buyer for the property. This is the time to get everything researched that you need to research about the property to know that it's a good investment to move forward with. Okay, C2C means you are clear to close. It means everything has been cleared up, all the inspections are done, all the title work is done, and there are no issues with title work. The lending conditions are met and everything is ready. And once you have the C2C, you can close immediately. Okay, COE is close of escrow, and what that means is closing. That means you're closing out the escrow account, you're closing on the property, and you are ready to move forward in finding your next deal or starting your rehab, depending on if you are fixing the property or if you're wholesaling the property. So those are the acronyms you need to know in wholesaling to get started and be effective. Okay, the next thing you need to know when you are wholesaling a property and coming up with that offer for the property is a little bit about how to do a rehab estimate. Now, don't stress too much about rehab estimates. Everybody's numbers are going to be different. Okay, every investor is going to have a different number when it comes to your rehab. It depends on their resources, as far as their contractors, as far as if they're doing the job themselves or who they're hiring to do it. Okay, so if you're just kind of estimating a rehab, what you want to estimate for a very light rehab, say paint and carpet, is about $25 a square foot. Okay, if you're going to add in kitchen and bathrooms, up that number to $30 a square foot. If you have to put a roof on the property and do a little bit more major work, then probably $35 a square foot. If the property is a complete tear down, and what I mean by that is there are studs but no walls, there is no electricity run, there needs to be plumbing run, then you're going to use about $45 a square foot to estimate your rehab. And like I said, don't get hung up too much on rehab estimates, because every investor is going to have a different number. And they're all, if you give them a solid number and don't just say it's a light rehab or a cosmetic rehab or a major rehab, then they're going to come back to you and that's going to be one of their objections. Your numbers are wrong. Okay, so just kind of use this to estimate what they could be, and understand that going in, your investors are going to come up with different numbers than you. Okay, so let's talk about what comps actually are. Okay, I've seen a lot of my students come back to me with properties that they're using for comps and coming up with much higher numbers when the comps they're using really aren't comps. Okay, so think of it this way: when an appraiser goes out to appraise the property, they are first going to look for properties that are in the same neighborhood. Okay, so if you can find properties in the same neighborhood and they're not higher, okay, let me rephrase that. You can find properties in your neighborhood and then properties in the next neighborhood, like across the street. And the properties in the neighborhood across the street are higher priced. That's probably a better neighborhood. You want to try and stick to your own neighborhood if at all possible. When I'm running comps, I start by going out a half a mile And if I can find 3 comps to justify my price, then I will stay there. If I can't, I'll go out an additional half mile and I'll do that in increments of a half mile until I can find 3 comps that are similar. Okay, so you want to try and stay in your own neighborhood. You want to try and stay within a 3-mile radius, absolutely within a 3-mile radius, but the closer, the better. Okay, you're going to be looking at the age of the property. You don't want to go any further than maybe 20 years either direction. When you're trying to comp a property, if you have a property from 2020, you're not going to compare it to something that was built in 1980. Okay, you're going to be looking at the condition of the property. When you're coming up with an after repair value, you want to look at properties that are already repaired. Okay, not the condition your property is in. Okay, and you want to look at the improvements of the property. Okay, what improvements does the property need? What improvements do these other properties have? And that's how you're going to come up with your after repair value, is through these comps. So make sure you're looking at the location of the comps, no more than 3 miles apart. The age of the comps, no more than 20 years difference. Okay, you're going to want to look at the construction of the property. You don't want to compare a wood frame house to a concrete block house. Okay, you want to look at the square footage of the property. You don't want to go more than 20% either direction in your square footage. Okay, and if you stick to those conditions, then you should be okay finding comps very easily. Okay, let's go over how to find your after repair value, or ARV. Your after repair value is going to be the value that this property will most likely sell for once all the upgrades and repairs have been done. So when you're looking at your comps to find your ARV, you want to look at properties that are retail ready. You want to look at properties that have granite in the kitchen and granite in the bathrooms, if that's what most of the properties in the neighborhood are going for. Okay, you want to look at properties that have the same type of layout as yours. If you have an open floor plan and the property that you're putting under contract is all chopped up, you're going to want to make sure you add extra money into that budget to move some walls and things like that. Okay, you want to make sure that if your property has a pool, you're looking at other properties that have pools. You want to make sure if your property is 1,200 square feet, you're looking at properties that are 1,000 to 1,400 square feet approximately. I don't have my calculator, so we're looking at about 20% difference. Okay. And so that's how you're going to find your ARV. You're going to find the comps that have already been repaired or rehabbed to like new condition. Okay, and that's where you're going to get your ARV, or after repair value. Okay, the current wholesale offer formula in my area anyways is ARV times 70% minus your rehab estimate minus your assignment fee, and that would be your maximum allowable offer, or MAO. Now, this formula does not work for every single market. If you are in a market like Miami, I believe the formula is 80 to 85% minus rehab minus assignment fee. So if you don't know your area, do a little bit of research to see what properties are going for in that area. Okay, and I'm going to do a little screen share here and show you on the next lesson how to do that, and we'll go from there. So that is the current formula. Okay, so now we're going to get to the juicy part, what you guys have been waiting for here. I'm going to show you how to find your offer without knowing your ARV up front, without knowing your rehab estimates, just by having that initial conversation on the phone with your seller. And they've told you the house is in okay condition and it doesn't need a lot of repairs, and what's your offer? And a lot of times you'll be on the phone with these people and they want to know something right now. They don't want to wait 30, 40 minutes for you to call back. So you want to be able to give them a ballpark number. And you're going to do this, especially if you've picked a market where you've got 20% of cash buyers. You're going to be able to do this just by looking at what the cash buyers in the area are buying for. So let me share my screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about and how it works. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to come about these offers in a very, very quick way. When you're on the phone with these sellers and they want an offer right away and you don't want to lose interest with them, you want to be able to give them a ballpark number and be able to start and just to see if you guys are on the same page. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the cash offers in the area. Okay, so let's just pick the street right here, Ivanhoe. Let's do 511 Ivanhoe Way. Okay, so we're going to pull up the property and we're going to go to our comps. Okay, we're going to look in, let's do a half mile. And we make sure this is checked to single family, which it is. Okay, so you see we got one comp here at 200. I'm assuming this right here is a typo on the property appraiser's website because this area does not justify $2 million. So let's go out a little bit further so we can see a little bit more what's going on in this neighborhood. Oops. Not looking for cash. We're looking for regular comps. Okay. So we have 15 comps. And if we kind of go through them, we can see that they're trending in the 200 range. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and we're going to pick the ones that are above 200. Okay, so we dive into this a little bit deeper when we're doing our real research here, but as you can see, we're going to be ranging for an ARV of around 215 to 220, 215 to 225 actually. Okay, so now if we're on the phone with a seller and they want an offer right now and you don't have a whole lot of time to go through these comps and see which one it is closest to, we're going to go to our cash buyers. Okay, make sure we're a mile out and we have single family only because this is a single family property. Let's see what the cash buyers are paying in this area. Okay, so we already know that our house is worth around 200, so we have some people who have paid cash to live in the property. If you look here, I generally tend to throw out the lowest and the highest, and again, I think this 2 million is a typo. So we've got 105, we've got 140, 100, 126. So if you kind of average those all together, you can see that the cash buyers in this area are paying right around 105 to 120. Okay, so we had our ARV at 220, and we're going to multiply that by our 0.7, which would be our ARV formula, minus, let's give a $25,000 rehab just to be on the safe side. So right now, 70% of 220 is 154. So we're going to take 25,000 off of that. And let's say we want to make $10,000. Okay, that would bring our maximum allowable offer here at 119, which is, like I said, right between that 105 and 120 that we're looking at on these cash buyers. Okay, so if you can get that property for 119 or less, it's going to get scooped up by an investor. Okay, and that is how you find your cash offer without knowing the ARV. So if we hadn't looked up the ARV first, we would just know that we needed to offer between 100 and 120. And that is how you do it. Let's look at another one just so we can show that this isn't a fluke. Okay, I'm going to pick another area that I know is a good cash buyer market. Okay, and this only works, guys, if you're looking at properties that are in a market that's 20 to 25% cash sales. Okay, so let's pull the 32808, which I know is a really good market for cash buyers. And let's just look at this first one that pops up. Okay, so we're going to look at the cash sales first. Okay, we're going to go back 6 months. And make sure that we're only looking at single family properties. And we're going to go half mile. Okay. We have 106. This 35 we're going to just throw right out. And then 174, we're always going to throw out our highest and our lowest. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, so you can see the 3 2s are going for about 142. And if you'd like, we can go out a little bit further just to verify. Okay, where we now have 25 properties to look at. Okay, here's a 4-3 at 123. Remember we had looked at that 3-2 at 142. Here's another 3-2 at 142. A 3-2 at 130 or 129. Here's a 4-2 at 140. A 3-2 at 140. So you can see the cash trends, you have more 140s in here than anything else. So I would say that it would be safe to make an offer around 130 because you want to make sure you've got enough money in here to add your assignment fee. Now let's take a look at your comps and see how close we are as far as ARV. I want to look at single family homes within a mile. Here we have one for 200. Another for 200. $201. $214. There's one at $215. There's a couple of them in here for the 340 area, but I don't think this area really justifies that. There's another 206 and another 200. So 230. Another 215. Okay, so without digging super deep into these properties, you can see you're worth about 210. Okay, 210 times 70%. It's 147. So if you wanted to make the offer, like I said, you would be around 130 so that you'd have room for your fees. Okay, and that's how you make an offer within minutes on an investment property without knowing the ARV first. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Have a great day.
Okay, welcome back. Now, hopefully you found that to be not confusing. And if you do have questions, please post them in the Facebook group. Like I said, I will be watching that Facebook group. I'll be reaching out to people who need help and answering as many questions as I can. And we can go over some of them when we have our live call. Just keep watching the group for when the live call is. So, with that being said, I want you to come up with offers for every property that you put comps on, and I want you to go back in and check to make sure you are in line with them. We're going to be talking about one more thing that will help you get these offers tomorrow, and then we're going to hit the ground running with getting in touch with these sellers. So get this done because you're going to be using this in the days coming up. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to comment below, #homework complete. Bye.